Hey everybody, I'm Riley.
And I'm Todd, and welcome to this week's episode of Barber Cuts. We are talking, possibly, I have not actually confirmed this, maybe our longest album title yet. Whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not, by the Arctic
Mm,
Monkeys. Huh?
we
Didn't I
do
get it right?
we you did. I was just saying we have the Ziggy Stardust.
Oh, yeah, that one may be pretty good too.
I think that one that one's maybe longer.
Yeah. Hmm.
Close running though.
Yeah. Very, very close running. May have to do a little bit of a count later, but 2006 is our album year. We have finally found an album. This may be the second one that Riley is older than the album. So
Yes,
this
big
does not
news.
happen that much.
By 2 years, but we're
Yeah,
there.
by 2 years, but yet you are older. So let's get into it, Riley. What are your least favorite two?
Um, my least favorite two. One was um from the Ritz to the Rebel. And another one was Dancing Shoes. I feel like they both had the same vibe. I don't know how to explain exactly why I don't like these songs, but I like the other ones without it being confusing. Because I think the things I don't like about these songs are things that I like about the other songs.
Yeah.
I think these ones might have been a little too. I don't know how to. Arctic Monkeys kind of has a very has a vibe to it
Yep.
that's a very particular one, and I think these two were just the only ones that I felt were a little off on it. Dancing Shoes felt a little too much on like the pop or like dancing, not dancing, like musical
Yeah.
theater almost side of
Mm.
things.
Yeah.
And From the Ritz to the Rebel might have had a little bit of that in there too.
Yeah.
So I guess I enjoyed them. They just stuck out like a little bit to me.
Yeah. That makes sense. So my two, one was again maybe a song that is the longest title ever. You probably couldn't see for the lights, but you were staring straight at me. Is the song title name? And then also Ritz to the Rebel was one of my least favorite. You know, this is a heavy on the punk undertones, post punk, and I'm not a punk fan. And these two were a little bit more on the stronger punk side. You know, there were also others that were had a punk to it. The whole album, except for two or three, kind of did. But like you, for some reason, some of them didn't bother me near as much as these two did.
Yeah.
But and maybe and even these two, they weren't as punk as say the Sex Pistols album that we listened to, and maybe that's because some of the other musical genres, rock stuff, is coming through. But those are my least favorite too. What about most favorite or favorite too?
Most favorite.
Yeah.
So my probably one of my most favorite is one of the ones we mentioned as you mentioned that I would assume is one of the ones you were thinking of as not as punk. It's a little bit more of the more like it's almost like beach rock to me. Like that guitar is very beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like a very like upbeat song compared to some of the other ones that are a little bit more angry. Which is very funny considering that this song is like about someone switching up on you. And like I love the way he says cuddles in the kitchen. Remember cuddles in the kitchen?
Yeah.
But like talking about how someone kind of has these two sides that will just switch, like a gun going
Yeah.
off, and one is angry and argumentative and upset, kind of like being stuck in almost like an abusive relationship where you're stuck because of the nice side, but not
Yeah.
because of the argumentative side.
Yeah, I like that.
So
Where on a day like today, when you're all argumentative and you've got the face on,
yeah,
like
it's
you
so
got your
good.
grumpy face, and this is, and we'll touch on this later. I didn't realize because this was one of my favorites too. So I'll talk about it a little bit. Marty is a British, I guess, slang term for, a grumpy, argumentative type of person. And I didn't realize my ears and my English brain, Southern brain, was translating Marty bum to already. Like I'm Marty bum to I'm already bum, and it was
That's
just a
funny.
English accent to me. And then when I went and looked at it, I was like, oh, that's not at all what that is. So,
Yeah.
but that's his accent is one of the things that makes this album fun in various places. But I did like that different sound, that beachy thing, and again, happy music to a funny, kind of lyrically different type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
for sure. My other favorite song, also, this one almost, that almost reminds me of, okay, hear me out, ska.
yeah,
um, that specific kind of bum 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 that they got going on.
yeah,
But this one does feel more like classic indie rock more so than punk to me.
yeah,
And just the continuous beat that's very obvious and in your face. And then they do that lovely thing where the instruments go quiet and you have like this little like crowd moment that I don't always love. Like sometimes it really can mess up a song, but I thought they did it very well. I thought they did it for the right amount of time. It wasn't like super short and right back in, and it wasn't super long and drawn out. And it went back to that familiar beat that was there before. And it does feel like a song that, like if I was in like a small club or something, people would be singing along with that and shouting that back. Like it doesn't
yeah,
feel forced or fake, I guess. But yeah, I love the kind of idea that someone's just the fake tales of San Francisco. It's like such a funny just way of wording things to me.
yeah, yeah,
Also saying more point to a wedding disco without a bride or groom. Don't know what that means, but that's funny. And I just
yeah.
could tell.
There are, and we'll probably repeat some of this in our why should people listen to it section, but the portions of it were fun to try and pick up on the British slang, and
Yeah.
go, I'm sure that means something, but I don't know what it is. So, but that was another one. I enjoyed that one too.
Yeah. I will say I did like the I can't even I don't know the full name of the song either. You probably couldn't see me through
Yeah.
probably couldn't I did like that one. That was my
Did you?
third favorite. It was
Okay.
between that and Fake Tales of San Francisco.
Yeah. So I there were two. There was one that I really liked. There were two that I was debating over. One was Marty Baum. The other one was Riot Van. And again,
Yes.
this is one that I thought I was expecting a massive takeoff, really,
No.
and I
And it
got
goes into
this,
that instead.
and I'm like, okay, that's different, and we talk a lot of times like I like the unexpected of something in my head that
Yeah.
I'm thinking, especially given the rest of the album, and it's been, it's like got that aggressive punk kind of undertones to it. So I was
Yeah.
expecting it. Oh, they're about to hit that, And nope, they never do. Um, but this one was fun. Again, beachy island vibe a little bit there too, but a lot like Marty Bum. The lyrics here are, you know, you don't look old enough. And then he says, I didn't, nobody told me that I shouldn't. So it's about, again, clubbers getting underage drinker, getting caught by the police, having a rough go in the back of a police van. So it's a little bit humorous, but yet, you know, with the music there. So that was one of them that I also really liked. And the other
That one,
one,
oh,
go
that
ahead.
one was another one where you would think with the lyrics like that, like Riot Van, and with Marty Bum being like kind of stuck in a angry relationship, those would be the two you would think would have a punk sound to it, an
Mm-hmm.
angry sound. No,
Yep.
he's more mad that someone's not on the dance floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
That's
I'm
true.
like you got your priorities kind of skewed on what you're mad at, my man. But
Yeah.
hey, we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
So, um, the let's see, the other my other one was the last one, a certain romance. Um, and so there we go. That drum intro, guitars are about to come in. Um, and the intro is just really good. There's a minute 20 before lyrics kick in. Um, and then coming up in a little bit, the guitar is going to go not as heavy and it's going to get more melodic and less distorted. So that's about to hit right here, which is a massive transition. And
Which that's
again,
just modern indie rock. This
yeah.
sound,
So
modern indie
yeah,
rock, just
right.
in 2005.
Right. And so it's
Crazy.
it's 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 neat. And so there's no chorus, so that makes the song a little bit different. And so again, just differences that kind of, and now again, a little back to something that's seemingly beachy. I don't know, but um the other thing that I liked about the song, I guess around the 3 minute, and so gonna massive shift here, fast forward. There it is. That little bass line, that's nice right in the middle of the song.
Also
Um,
modern
yeah,
indie.
and then the lyrics go away, and so this is the last, and so now for about a minute 40, there's our heavy guitar that comes back in, and the thing that's nice about it is the there's two guitars that are intertwining, and you may hear it in the background, as the song winds down. But to me, it's a great, like, this is a, we talked about in other episodes, good ending songs.
Yeah.
This is a really good ending song musically. I really liked it. And I tried to do some justice for you, and on songs that I like, I look more at the lyrics, and the lyrics make sense here too. Like, because you've had an album where you've talked a whole lot about how at that time, and I think when he wrote all this, he was a teenager, 18, 19. And youth are all about having fun. They're, going to places, they're getting in trouble, and society gets angry at that. But then we do the same exact thing. And we don't get angry when our own friends do it, so maybe we shouldn't either, or so we shouldn't get angry at the youth for doing it. And so that was a really neat juxtaposition that he does in the song there, and thought that was really neat, because he's going through this whole thing from his own point of view of nightlife and all this fun and trouble that he's getting into, and then at the end you get this song of like, maybe we should cut him a little slack.
Yeah, well, I
So
think it's also a really great song to be at the end of it because I think it really shows. Well, I guess this goes a little bit into why you should listen to the album.
yeah.
So,
So
you got
why
anything
should
else?
people listen to this album? Go for
Well,
it.
extending on that, I think a lot of I think a lot of Arctic Monkey fans would be a little caught off guard if they heard some of the songs on this particular album. And as someone who is an Arctic Monkey fan and probably was a little taken aback by some of them, this
Yeah.
one like is the most punk. I pulled up like this is one of their songs as well. Like very calm, very quiet. It's like a love song. Um, and then you get, hold on, let's see. So a lot more of like that last
Yeah.
song, like the pop side of things, and then
Yeah.
obviously a lot of people know this intro, which
Yep.
is way more rock heavy.
Right.
And so I think it really shows a lot of range on their part
Yeah, I
that
agree.
they're known for that and started here.
Right. And I think that AM album is what blew him up in the
Yeah.
US. This is the album that blew him up in the
Oh
UK
my gosh.
and
They, yeah.
massively.
Yeah. They
So,
were considered like they filled Oasis's hole in a lot of people's hearts.
yeah,
They came in at like a very fortunate time for this sound, with Oasis just
right.
getting big and then the cyclical nature of things. But I think if you if you want to claim that you like punk but you actually don't, listen to the first album of Arctic Monkeys and you might be
Yeah,
able to say you like a little punk.
right.
They make it tasteful. They make a
Right.
genre that is very unapproachable way more approachable.
Yeah,
And I will say, the more you listen to it, the charm of it does grow on you.
I agree.
At first, the harsh northerner sound, lovingly, is that's just a very harsh accent, and most artists hide their accent a little bit, or not intentionally hide it. It just goes away a little bit
Hmm.
when they sing, and that is not what happens. He exaggerates it, if anything. Like, it's very in your face, and it's very northern
Yeah.
British, and it's very authentic to who they are.
Sheffield, I believe, is where he's from.
Yeah. And
You know,
that's just,
I don't know some of the smaller cities. I know that's probably where Sheffield Wednesday is, soccer team, but that's about how I know cities
but
in the
it's just a
UK.
very refreshing
Yeah,
sound to hear something so authentic.
yeah, and I like, as I said, he used a lot of the slang, like his accent. The what was the word? For me, I'm gonna say struggling. The struggle bus, and it was like struggle, and I'm like, I some of the words like I had to. It took me a
Kurul?
mental,
Kurul?
yeah, it took me a mental second to
Got
process it.
kurul's in the
And
kitchen.
that's not to mention, like we mentioned, Marty, where it's a slang term that it completely over my head until I happened to Google it and go, oh, so that does have a different meaning. And and I think that's one of the things. Alex Turner is the lead singer. He's got his accent, uses those slang terms. A lot of that is going to be lost on me in America. But I don't like. I'm not his audience. He wrote
Right.
this for that particular British audience, and probably even the neighborhood Northern England Sheffield group, and it just blew up
Yeah.
because that's what he was doing, and he connected so deeply because of that. And he continued to do that, be themselves. Fake Tales of San Francisco is poking fun of people that are like, we sound America and we do this, but we've never actually been there, so we don't know what we're talking about. And he was like, I'm gonna be authentic. And and
Yeah.
that comes through in this album.
I think it does. I would say most of the time it sounds like he was making it for his friends and other
Yeah,
people just happened to listen, which is a wonderful thing when you get to like hear that on an album.
yeah,
Also, very impressive. So this was released 2006.
six.
The band formed in 2002 and started kind of performing some shows later on and sharing CDs and demos and doing things like the old fashioned way, which it is to note, they formed in 2001, recorded this in like 2005, 2006. They say that they got their first instruments in 2001 for Christmas.
Yeah,
Are you, that's insane.
yeah,
Like to be this big and blow up that huge and having like maybe 4 years of guitar behind your belt, like still figuring it out. Like
yeah,
that's crazy impressive how much they figured out so quickly.
yeah.
Enough to
No, I
be able
agree.
to perform so quickly and get like a deal so quickly and share it and all of that.
Well, yeah. I mean, and their deal came out because of they did their own merchandising. They did their
Yeah.
own social media, like MySpace for those of my age that remember MySpace. Like all of that helped them take off, and they became an overnight
Yeah.
social media when it first
Which
started icon
they
that got them a
they
record
credit
deal.
it. They credit it, and a lot of other people credit them as well as being the first social media band. Like
Yeah,
the first band that really utilized social media and like became like that overnight
right.
sensation for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
So a lot
Which
of
is
the
very cool
bands,
considering nowadays, like, that's still how people get blown up. Like,
yep,
Noah Khan had a big following, but not Stick Season big until he released Stick Season on TikTok. And, like,
right.
all of this, like, that's still how people get found today. So for someone to be, like, so on the forefront of that and a lot of sound is very impressive.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
with, like, less than 5 years of musical experience under their belt.
Yeah, like it is a rock album. It does have some strong punk undertones, but it's got that, you mentioned indie rock, alt rock, garage rock, like all of that melded in together.
It
And it
rem-
does have a sound to it because I know first couple that I listened to, I was like, oh, okay, this is not at all what I was expecting because again, I know the AM
yeah.
album. And I'm like, okay, this is definitely different. But like you said, second, third, fourth time I listened through, I'm like, okay, I like it.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as what I was initially expecting it to be.
Yeah, there's a few more things really with it. Is one thing that I did appreciate about it is usually when punk is involved, I love people who like punk. However, they can be a little obnoxious. And it can only be punk and they can't like anything or anyone or like it's just
Yeah,
all punk. And I think it's really cool that the Arctic Monkeys, it was all similar sounding, but they did not stick to one specific sound or
yeah,
vibe or like anger or anything. Like, it's almost very contrary that they would put punk sounds to saying someone would look good on a dance floor and encouraging
right.
them to like dance and do all
Yeah,
of these things and be more like jovial, whereas punk was usually more like screw the man,
we
like
hate everything.
let's have fun in
Yeah,
spite of this guy because of how much we hate them. Whereas this one
right.
was like, nah, we're just having fun, but with
Yeah,
punk. And
right.
that was very refreshing and maybe what makes it more approachable in my opinion, because that's one
Yeah,
of the
could
hardest
be.
things about punk is that it's in your face, but it's also so angry.
Right.
You just have to be so angry listening
Yeah,
to it.
in your face, aggressive, angry, and this had some of that, but yet you also found yourself in the lyrics going, ha, that's funny,
Yeah.
not I'm angry.
Yeah, it
So
had like
it had that good mix to really draw you into it so that you didn't, and
yeah.
I think
It
as
did
an
feel
album goes, it did have good slow down songs and spots to let you recover from the natural
yeah.
speediness of the music.
But I just think it's very cool. It's not like necessarily credited, but in some of the songs we listened to that it did have like pop tones to it as well. That's also very anti like punk and
Yeah,
rock
yeah, true.
sound is they do not want anything to do with it. But they like leaned into it and just did what they wanted it to sound like. And along with like the humor in it is you don't realize until you hear a song with a lot of like jokes in it or like bits
Yeah,
that it's very rare to find like a humorous song that isn't a comedy song,
right.
and it's fun when you do. It feels more like you're listening with your friend, and or like your friend is just trying to make you laugh, and
Yeah.
it's very fun. I will
Yeah,
say,
it reminded me of the Streets album that we did, because
yeah,
again, he had, and so that's from our season one. Go back and listen to that one. He didn't hide the accent. It was all local
yeah,
kind of, and had the slang and everything in it. So it reminded me a lot of that, of things that I'm sure I'm missing. But again, I'm not the intended audience necessarily, so
yeah.
definitely
I
reminded me of
think
that.
it. I could definitely.
The
I think
music is
everything
different,
apparent.
but just from the two
Yeah.
groups. But
I guess this credits how wide of a range Cage the Elephant has, because I think every album sounds like Cage the Elephant. But I will say, specifically the last song in a lot of this sounded like Cage the Elephant's Drones in the Valley, which essentially, if you've listened to us talk about, oh gosh, pixies, you know that that just means, if they sound like Cage the Elephant, that just means they sound like pixies. Specifically that first album. With the loud soft loud they did play on that a lot, and I
yeah,
always appreciate a loud soft loud. I appreciate how much they commit to it at times with the loud soft loud. Like sometimes it's a little bit more subdued and it's just like a little more yelling and a little quieter yelling. No, they would switch up on you sometimes in this album.
yeah,
Sometimes they would keep like acting like they were going to build and it didn't build. But on like the last song, it will do that a few times,
yeah,
and then same with a few of the ones that
yeah,
I listed. But I appreciated that. I think
yeah,
there's that, obviously some draw on like punk and British punk,
yeah,
and Oasis and all of that. But
yeah.
it's just it's such a unique sound.
Yeah, it is. It at the time it became the fastest selling debut album in British history. So that's
Yeah,
saying something, especially like you said, coming off the heels of Oasis, and some of the other rock artists that have come out of Britain. And it was the second fastest selling independent record debut album, a lot of caveats there, in the U.S. So it did decent in the U.S. as well.
yeah,
Also won quite a few different awards, listed in several greatest of different lists as well. A few notable ones. It won the 2007 Grammy for Best Alternative Music Album. Peaked at number 24 on the U.S. Billboard 200, but was number one in the equivalent Billboard over in the UK. So obviously quite a bit bigger over in the UK, but still made its mark in the US, but not
yeah,
near as much like we said, AM did years later.
yeah. Well, that makes sense. But it is impressive that you have all of these awards for this album, and we as listeners know that this is not their biggest album. Like
Yeah,
AM and the I forget which album the 505 song is on, or
yeah,
like technically bigger albums.
yep.
Let's see.
So,
Um,
oh, you
so it's
looking that
very.
up?
I'm seeing which it's on. Um, favorite worst nightmare.
Okay. All right. So, anything else to add to that? Are we ready to move on?
I think I'm ready to move on.
All right, then let's hear it. Best best bar, Riley. What's the best lyric?
So, unfortunately, I'm not gonna play it because it's just me saying the lyric. But unfortunately, you stole my thunder. You stole
Oh,
my thunder. Because the best lyric in this whole album is, "I'm sorry, officers. There's a certain age you're supposed to be because nobody told me." That is
that
the
is funny.
best line in this album. That is so funny.
Yeah,
So context, it's riot bands. The officer is saying, "Have you been drinking, son? You don't look old enough to me." And to imagine someone's response is there an age I'm supposed to be? Because nobody told me. And then
yeah.
following it, which is also very funny, is, "And up rolls the riot van." It's just
So there
so,
you go.
so funny.
The and that's such a such a good
And he
line. And
sounds
you
like he's
can
pouting. He sounds
and
like he's kind of making fun
right.
of the guy.
And and then and he's talking about his friends are just winding up the and coppers, so that's a definitely a UK word.
Yeah.
These lads just wind the coppers up. They ask why don't they catch proper crooks instead of
Yep.
just in their eyes just messing with them while they're just out trying to have a good time going to clubs and they're on their way home. Like it's and you can kind of see a young kid doing that where they're in their mind they're causing no harm, they're just out having fun, and surely the coppers have something better to do than to mess with them.
Yeah. Which we'll
So
see. We'll see how many times I mentioned Noah Khan in this thing. Strange crossover here.
yeah,
But Noah Khan just released a song called Headed North on his new album. And it starts saying they finally caught the guys who blew up those two police cars, which is apparently something that happened in his town. And it's his like response to it is, it was a couple college kids who thought the town was dumb as rocks. Like we wouldn't raise an eyebrow at the sudden lack of BS. Too few parking tickets written, too few high school parties stopped. And it's just these poor small town cops, man, they got nothing
yeah,
better to do. And then they get flamed for having nothing better to do. Like
yeah,
that's gotta hurt on
yeah,
a few different levels.
yeah.
But I will also say, so it doesn't steal my thunder. I did also like a lyric from "I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor," which is a very fun song in my opinion. So it's very loud, very in your face, but I do think it's fun to listen to. But it's, "Your shoulders are frozen, cold as the night, but you're an explosion, you're dynamite. Your name is Rio, but I don't care for sand." Again, don't really know what it means,
Yeah.
but that's funny. Here, I'll pull that up. Here it
Let's
is.
say you're not even playing the lyric.
Like, like the way it says it, the way the people are in the background shouting. I don't really know what it means. I know your shoulders are frozen. I know a cold shoulder, but you're an explosion. I don't really know what "your name isn't Rio, but I don't care for the sand" means, other than like obviously like Rio Beach. He doesn't like,
Yeah.
but I don't know why
Rio
that's relevant.
Rio de Janeiro, and he doesn't like sand. But yeah, I don't
But I don't know why he threw that in there. I don't know how
on
he
the
came up with that
surface.
one.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's what it. Some of these lyrics feels like Beastie Boy type lyrics,
yeah,
where they wrote it on an app. Like they would just be saying jokes back and forth, and whichever, like this is how they said they wrote songs. They would say jokes back and forth, and anything that got a laugh out of someone else, they would write it down. Anything that didn't, they wouldn't. And
yeah,
some of these lyrics feel like They were
and
like,
that
oh, this would be funny.
and that very well may be because it is a lot of them running around clubbing,
Yeah.
dancing, doing all this together, and they say funny stuff, and they're like, let's put that in a, let's put that
Yeah.
in a song, and next thing you know, there it is. And
Because
so
another one, literally a few lines down, dancing to electro pop like a robot from 1984. Well, from 1984.
yeah,
Okay,
yep.
that's funny.
So but speaking of stealing thunder, the my best beat comes from the opening 30 seconds of "I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor."
That's funny.
So we actually don't rehearse this, and everybody's like, "Yeah, we knew that." Um, so so
That
before I play it
obvious.
though, guitar. There's some good drumming in there to open it. There's fast pounding of a snare drum. At least what it sounds like. The guitar starts to soar and build, and all that is in the first 20 seconds. Then the guitar starts to play more melodic sounds. And so there even in this first 30 seconds or so, there seems to be three little parts. So I kind of want to say it before we get going. There's there's an intro for with the guitar and drum for about the first 8 seconds, and then there's the guitar starts to build for the next 10 seconds, and that's when that heavy pop 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 of the snare drum kicks in, and then there's a little bitty solo, and then the lyrics start, and so all that's in the first 30 seconds. And so let me make sure the volume's up so we can hear it. Oh, not that one. There it is. So that drum is just crazy fast, and there's that fast build up with the snare drum going. Here's our here's the where the melody kind of kicks in and a little solo, and then the lyrics start. And like that's such a good little 30 seconds worth of three distinct, really different sounds that come from it. And again, a fast, aggressive, angry sounding song about somebody looking good on a dance floor is just funny.
And ignoring them. Yep.
Yeah, so like there's lots of parts in here that are just funny, and I guess what were they, 18, 19 years old? You can kind of see that playfulness coming out where they're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, this would be funny if we made a song about it." All right. So that brings us to our ratings. Riley, what are your ratings?
Um, so I would say objective. That's what I was going technical, and I was like, that's not. I don't know technicality. Um, Objectively, I would say like an 8.5.
All right.
I would say it's a very good album, but like it's meant to be a little looser, I guess. But there are just some parts that, in my opinion, are a little too much wall of sound, and it becomes a little overwhelming to like listen to. Um, and also, I don't know. I guess I'm getting into a little bit of personal. It's not meant for a wide audience, which has its charm
Yeah.
for it, but it also makes it hard for it to be like an objectively good album because it's not. They didn't want it to really be a wide audience,
Yeah.
so there
So
are
what's
things
your
in
so
it
what's
that
your personal rating?
my personal rating, I would say like a 7,
Okay.
6.5 or 7, 6, 7.
6. Oh,
I'll go 7. I
all right.
really like this album. I really love the band. I really what they love the more music they've produced. It was very entertaining to hear where they started. And it was very surprising.
Yeah.
at times. But the more I listened to it, I did like it, which is why it's higher. But it took me a few times to listen to it for me to like comprehend that I liked it and not just
Yeah.
be kind of taken aback.
Yeah, mine are very similar. Half step lower actually for both of them. Personal for me, 6.5. Objective, 8. Again, not really my style, but it started off lower than that, and the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, okay, I actually it's not as bad as what I thought it was. So it grew, and one of the reasons that objectively that I give it a higher rating also is not just the music, but also around the album. So, like we've talked about, they bypassed the traditional marketing plans, gave away free CDs, encouraged people to post them online and share it that way, which fueled this sales frenzy. So even though they were giving out free stuff, people then ran to buy the album. And again, MySpace, we talked about the digital type of communities, and really the first wave of social media, how that could work to their benefit and do better than what corporate music could do for them. And now so many other stars are doing that with Instagram, TikTok, and whatever else they do. And then the other thing that I like was, again, we've talked about it, that the lead singer Turner stayed true to himself. And so, like, I'm going to use my accent. I'm going to talk about my little community and what we're doing, and a lot of these from really the first person point of view. I all of that are things that I like to see in music, of people staying true to themselves, even if the pop world or whatever it is may be telling them to do something different, but staying true to themselves. So
Yeah.
that's part of why that objective one is higher. So, all right, um, song of the week. Do I need to go first? Because yours may be a whole nother album, I'm guessing.
No, it's not a whole nother album. One,
All right,
two
go ahead.
songs have stood out
Three, four, four,
for me.
5, 6, 7.
Um, so Noah Khan's new album came out. Surprise, surprise. That's all I've been listening to. Wop wop. Um, really good album, in case you're wondering. Different than his first. Pretty different than his first, in my opinion. A lot more sad. You're just gonna be sad.
Yeah, sad.
Anyway, um, this one is one of my favorite ones. It kind of does what Forever does, which I talked about recently. It starts off very slow and kind of melodic, and then kind of out of nowhere, so it's this slow bit. And now it's fun, and you just bounce to it, and it's
Yeah.
like, it's just so fun. And I have loved listening to this song. It's been one of the more fun ones to listen to. Crazy lyric whenever I'm saying this is one of the happier songs on the album, and the first lyric is, "Your love is like an open flame, I'm a running car, you're a closed garage." You know what? You just gotta look past it sometimes. I saw there was another one that's not one of my favorite, but goes with that. And here it is. And someone said, Noah Khan can be happy if you just don't listen to the lyrics. And it was this one. And everyone's dancing to it. And it's saying, like, it's someone getting mad at him for saying, like, "Glad you got your act clean. I know you think you're a big shot, but at least I have a soul, even if I'm not doing as good as you." Anyway, but my favorite song. And I've listened to it so much that it's gotten to the point that my sweet boyfriend, who will let me listen to whatever, has gotten to the point where he says, "You've got to find something else." And I haven't. This song when we've talked about good songs, and you two with my mom and stuff like that, is like it consumes you a little bit. And this has been my song, and it has been, anytime I listen to any other song, I'm like comparing it to this song subconsciously. Everything has been compared to this song, and none of them are as good in my opinion. Like, I am obsessed with this song. I love the way he plays with his voice at the beginning. I love that it's the like picking that's throughout the whole song. And it's just a beautiful song. And I love the lyrics as well, surprise. But the whole premise is, like, I'm an astronaut, you're the moon, I stare at you, I sing to you, I circle you. So, like, orbiter is just someone being in the orbit of someone else. And that's, like, you would think, like, an obvious connection for people to make. And I just don't hear it that often in songs, so it was very cool to hear someone sing about that. Especially, I guess, with, like, astronauts in the moon, the reason they orbit is because their mass is so much bigger than just like a small astronaut. And so for like this huge artist to kind of humble themselves and be like, I'm the one circling you, like you're so much bigger than I am, is like a very cool thing to hear. And then it kind of does have the wolf premise where it's like, even anxious pups need the moon, I howl for you, I sing for you. Which is just so beautiful to hear someone be like, everything I do, everything that's made me big is for you, and I don't care. And so it has that, like, relatable type of feel. But it is very cool. The beginning is all about his experience, I think, losing at the Grammys. And, like, having to process that. Or losing at these award shows, which is not a very relatable thing. But it feels relatable when he sings about it. I don't know. This has been my song. And then, and then. So this song was already released before the Artemis exploration occurred. But I don't know if you know. I don't know if anyone here knows. But the astronauts went and they circled the moon, obviously. And one of the crew members' wives had recently passed away. Her name was Carol. She had passed away. And they found a crater that was sometimes visible, and they named it Carol. They named the crater Carol, and they had this sweet little thing about why they named her that, and it was like, anytime we get to see her, it's like she's looking down on us. And someone made an edit of saying, I'm an astronaut, of the actual astronaut, and you're the moon, and it showed where Carol, the crater, was. And it was like, and I circle you, and it was showing pictures of them. That's crazy. And that wasn't even planned. Like, that's just an accident.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Anyway, this album's very good. You're gonna be sad.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Good luck, but listen to Orbiter, at least.
All right. So, my song goes back to 94. Mockingbirds by Grant Lee Buffalo. So, I bet you are probably unfamiliar with this one. But it's beautiful melody, and lyrically it's a late addition to the album that it was on. It was played during the 90s alt radio. Devastation at last, finally we meet is the first line.
That's crazy.
So right up your sad alley.
Yeah.
Lyrically, it's about when the team, they were working on this album in LA, and a 6.7 magnitude earthquake struck LA, destroyed the lead singer's trailer, the bassist's home, so they camped out in the drummer's yard, and each morning they said they woke up to the sound of Mockingbirds, which is the name of the song. And so he hits
Wow.
this falsetto that shows even more vulnerability, all the while talking about something that's just devastating. And so, the first line, devastation, at last we finally meet. Each new chorus starts with this last one that just started, devastation, my door was left wide open. Um, and later it mentions a terrible realm, and then the line that follows that is, all my sails were ablaze, I was chained to the helm, as if you're sinking with the ship and there's no way you can get out of it. But the that chorus is just haunting, like getting chills listening
Yeah.
to it. And so this was played in alt radio stations in the mid '90s. Grant Lee Buffalo, Mockingbirds is the name of the song.
Very good.
Oh, there's another good part. It drops a little bit into a even sadder key. So the last bit of it gets musically sadder. So it's a pretty neat little song. So
It was very good.
Grant Lee Buffalo, Mockingbirds. Um, so what is our next album, Riley?
We're continuing on with our
Let's do it.
run. Our next album is Let It Bleed by the Rolling Stones.
Oh, a little bit older.
Yeah.
So, Let It Bleed by the Rolling Stones. Did Are we in like the British row of this poster?
Yeah, I guess we kind of are, huh?
Because let's see, Rolling Stones, Arctic Monkeys, U2. Who's before U2?
Oasis,
Oasis.
the Rolling
Okay.
Stones, and I'm pretty sure the one after this one is also British.
Uh-oh. Gonna test your musical geography here. So we'll
They
find
sound like they
out
would be British.
next week.
Which Noah Kahn was just on the Rolling Stones cover. Bang! Got another one in.
Jeez. All right. So, yep. So next week, no, 2 weeks. Let It Bleed, Rolling Stones, 1969. I like these because these are albums that are older than I am. So that doesn't happen that much. So pre-listen to that if you want to go back and listen to the Arctic Monkeys' first album. Whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not. I can't remember it without reading it. So go back and listen to that one. Make Riley happy. Go listen to the Noah Kahn album. Be sad. Go listen to Mockingbirds by Grant Lee Buffalo. Be sad.
And be sad.
This is a sad time. Anyway, also on socials, Barber Cuts Pod. We're on Instagram. Also go to YouTube, Barber Cuts Pod, and subscribe there. You can see our smiling faces, even though we talk about sad songs sometimes, and smiling even when we talk about angry songs with angry music songs. This album,
Yes.
even though they were talking about dancing. So, I guess that's it. Until next time, I'm Todd.
I'm Riley, and this was another episode of Barber Cuts.